is Masterclass in Educational Neuroscience. And we are going to be looking at what? The science of reading. The science of reading. Whether we like it or not, reading is the pillar and the cornerstone of school, of socio-economic significance and success. Reading is the pillar or the foundation of success, not only in school, but in society. It is your ability to read that will make you thrive in the education sector. And do you know that your significance is also in a way tied to your ability to read? Because the reason is this: there are so many people out there who are rich but cannot read. So they've been able to achieve this socio-economic success, but they lack significance. Imagine if somebody like the incoming president, Bola Tinubu, cannot read, or President Buhari cannot read. I doubt it if there is anybody who is going to emerge as the president of this country and who does not know how to read and write. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is simple. That reading is the foundation of school success. It is the foundation, whether you're good at maths, you're good at accounts, Yoruba, whatever it is, you must know how to read. Without reading, in fact, reading is just like the key that opens both academic, that opens maybe doors to academic success. And after the schooling too, you still need the ability to read in order to climb the socio-economic ladder. That's why reading is extremely important. And do you know that there is a science for reading? There is a science for reading, and this is what we are going to be reading at today. My interest in reading began more than 15 years ago. Then I was a teacher at Lincoln, this Bajamo's private school. There was a girl. She was then in JSS 2, and I was their English teacher. And I realized that 2 little words she could not spell. So I wrote something, gave it to her. I told her parents that there's a need, that she needs a special kind of a lesson. I was a hostel master then too. So I discovered that then I was extremely busy. The only time that I had then was during break. So during break, she comes and I tried to fix that difficulty that she was experiencing. But I was so angry that how did you pass through from a 1 to, because when I told her to write ABC, yeah, she could write ABC. But 2 little words like okay, it, at all these things she could not write them. I was beating this girl. I was beating her almost every day. But at the end, she could not read. And in fact, in our book, because with Dr. Kemen Usman, he's one of the facilitators. He's going to come when we start the online training. We're going to really meet with him. He's a lecturer at Summit University in Kwara State. Here we co-authored the first educational neuroscience textbook in Nigeria. And this story is in the book itself. So it was that moment, maybe later on I started really thinking, how do I come up with ideas that would help students improve in their reading ability? In mathematics, there is an aspect of mathematics that is called word problem. It is your knowledge of reading, okay, that will help you be able to actually read, understand, and go ahead and answer the questions. So this morning, like I said, we are going to be looking at the neuroscience of reading in English language. And then it is important for me to quickly say this. There are 3 professors in the world that have really helped me to understand reading fluency and dyslexia. The first one, she's you can call her the #1 authority on reading and dyslexia. She's a professor at Yale University. Her name is Professor Sally Shields. She and her husband they've expended almost 50 years in dyslexia research. I've read so many of her works. People like Marian Wolf. She's a professor at MIT. Read her works, download her videos, and so many other professors. And that is one of the reasons why I'm going to be sharing. It is called evidence-based ideas with you. So please, and please, if you can understand how to help pupils, how to help adults learn how to read, you're going to be a leader in the education sector. I was at Solid Rock Foundation. I went there for this dyslexia screening. And I remember that after evaluating, assessing, screening, 4 of the pupils there, we arranged a call so that I could talk to the parents of these struggling readers, these pupils who could not read and write. And the school has done all it could. Hello, are we together, educators? Please, this is extremely important. Do you know that Sekinat happened to be one of the pupils that I screened, and I had to call the mom. The brothers called the mom. So we have an expert here who has come to really assist us. We want Sekinat to succeed, and we want her to be able to read and write. So could you please? She gave me the phone. I told her my name. In the course of the discussion, come and see. She was weeping. The mother was weeping. I don't know what Kitty, God is going to really help me to whatever is going to take, I should help her daughter because she was crying and I was really touched. My intention was to just go there, screen, and give them my report, but I had to really call the English teacher. He gave her 1 or 2 ideas, depending when they are going to, because the father said she wants the children to come up during the first term. So that is it. And then one more story before we go into today's topic. So I have Samson and Samuel. Both of them are brothers and they are orphans. So they are living with grandma. I was still lecturing at Yewa. I was going there and the grandma called me. Please, grandma told me that these are grandchildren, that they are orphans, that she has this belief that both of them are having spiritual problems. I'm not into spiritual. I said, oh, that teacher, please help my children, my grandchildren, that anything that I can do just to help them to be able to read. And then I was really, I had this special lesson too. That was when I used to hear of Uncle Malik. Uncle Malik, I never knew that I was going to read from there. So, do you know that she and I agreed that, these children cannot read and write. There's nothing for you to be doing for their lessons. Give me 3 months. I'm going to make them effective readers. So we agreed. So what I do was that after the normal lesson students, as soon as they come, I'm going to teach them. Then if they go, Samuel and Samson will come, then I will teach them. Do you know that within 1 month, a month and a week, good morning. So within just 1 month and 1 week, there was something that happened. After I've reviewed everything, I've applied everything that I know in the science that is connected to the science of reading. There were some things on the board. Then Samuel, the younger brother, is in GSS 1. Samson is in SS2. They both attend Alamala. Amide, the one there at Alamala. There were some things that I taught the students before they came. So I told Samuel, the younger one, could you please just rub up the board? Samuel said, Master, I can read it. Go and rub up the board. Master, I can read it. That boy just said, give him a chance. Because the agreement was 3 months. And Samuel went to the board and he read. I will never forget that day in my life. Within 1 month, just a month and a week, after applying everything I'm going to be revealing to us, it was somebody that the society and the grandmother has said they have spiritual problem. Samuel read it. God. The elder brother just went with confidence. Both of them were able to. I was able to take them from this potential dyslexics to individuals who can read and write. So many stories, but now let's continue with today's topic. Now, the first question that I want you to understand is this. Okay, language. So what is language? And what is the connection, okay, between language and reading? Language is a cognitive act that is human-based. And when you only know the sorry. Let me repeat it again. That language is a cognitive act. It is an act. It is a cognitive. When we say anytime you come across this word cognitive, okay, it is connected to the brain and it is connected to higher other functions, like your ability to think, your ability to remember, your ability to imagine. Okay, those higher other functions that are connected to the brain is all cognitive. So simply put, that language is a cognitive act that does what? That helps what? Humans to communicate with one another. All you need to do, you are all intellectual daddies and mommies. You just listen to me. Everything is in the course. We've not had the course yet. So this is just a kind of trying to lay the foundation. So a language is just a kind of, it's a cognitive act, okay, used by only human beings, okay, to communicate with each other or with one another. And language is what? It is human oriented. Do you know that our closest ancestors, the chimpanzees, the gorillas, okay, they have a kind of a means of communication, but they don't have a language system. Other primates have what? A means of communication, but they don't have a language system. So language is what? It's just a kind of, it's a human experience. It is a human experience. Language is a human experience. Now, quickly, this is it. God Almighty has done what? He has created us for language. God Almighty created you and I, Kalesoro. But God did not create us to do what? To read and to write. So reading is what? Is a human invention. Language is what? Is a God-given talent. Language is what? Is a God-given ability. Do not forget, language is a God-given ability, while reading is what? It is a human invention. We are born to speak. We are born to speak. We are born to talk. We are born to do what? To talk. But we are not born to read. Reading is what we must watch, we must learn. Reading is what we must acquire. That God Almighty gave us the ability to what? To speak. But the ability to read and write, we are to learn it. That is why you see Omotoma Biloni. Where is that woman that I said yesterday that came with her baby? Where is she or him? Okay. And this is it. Do you know that without you teaching her how to speak, all she needs to do is to listen. All she needs to do, all the baby needs to do, is to listen through the what? The auditory lobe or the temporal lobe, this place. And do you know that as you keep talking to her, whenever she comes to this place and she hears different what? Auditory signals, all those things are having an impact in her brain. And it is laying, this is what? The foundation of her language ability. That is why every human being speaks. And the reason why they speak is because of this auditory experience. As that child is, as those words, the vibration of auditory sounds, as they are entering our ear, the language architecture, the language system is constructed. If you don't expose her to reading, if you don't bring her to school, she will never learn how to read. So that is why the ability to produce sound, the ability to speak is innate. We are born to speak, but we are not born to read. We have to learn how to read. So that is number one on language. I don't know if anybody has questions. Good morning.
Actually, what you said, I observed it in my two kids. Initially, the first one happened to be a girl. She hopes initially in the spoken of English, but I now observed that the age she started speaking, not the age the boy. The second one, the boy. So I was a bit disturbed. How come this guy has not been spoken properly the way our elder sister did? So I started making inquiry from the experienced mother around me. So I got some enlightenment that boys, they don't usually catch up with time, but anytime they pick, they speak better. So I started studying him. He get to a stage that I discover it seems he's confused which one is he going to pick. Because sometimes we do speak Yoruba within ourselves. Sometimes, many times we speak English within the family. Do you understand that? But he will just be looking at his mom mouth and be looking at me. His mom can reply me in Yoruba. I will be speaking English to his mom. He said, and I noticed, and I told the woman that it's better we concentrate on one pure language. It seems this boy did not know which one to pick. So that is why we decided to be speaking English. But before you know, I heard him communicating the first time. I was asking him, where is your elder sister? Ah, thank God. Yeah, it's not a job and then president. So what is it has to do with age? Is it has to do with stages or age? Like you said, we are the determinants of the language they are going to speak. You're right.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is it. There's something called developmental delay. This developmental delay could happen to both male and female. So there are some children like that that if compared, okay, to their, just like you said, to their ages, they always have this delays in their ability to pick up language. The problem becomes if that child has a language delay up to like 5 years. That is when it becomes a kind of a challenge that the parents, especially before that child gets to 5 years, it's important that the parents, okay, visits, okay, takes that child to what? To a neurologist. To a neurologist or to a kind of, there are some people they are called, there are some experts, but they are known as, okay, speech, okay, and language, okay, specialist. It is their own responsibility to conduct some kind of evaluation or screening on that child who is having that delayed speech. They will be able to really discover, diagnose what is wrong with that child and give recommendations and interventions. But research has really shown that maybe the female children, this is just a theory, okay, that the female children, okay, they have their own developmental advantages, especially when it comes to what? The ability to really speak. Then another thing is this. Do you know that it is important for parents to always do what? To always engage in their babies. You have to be deliberate and intentional, and you have to set up your minds that whatever I'm saying to this child, that the child will really understand. Yeah, the child is, because fMRI, okay, data keep revealing that those interactions, those live interactions, okay, with your baby, that the signals are helping to create a formidable language network or language circuitry in the brain of the child. Let me quickly say this. There's something called the Matthew effect. Okay. Okay, the Matthew effect. Because it is important. The Matthew effect just simply states that the rich people and the middle class individuals, they try to give their children advantages if compared to the poor, okay, families. And how do they do this? Because of they are literate, whenever they give birth, they make sure that do what? They engage, okay, their children in this verbal interactions. If the child says "Baba," as somebody who has this knowledge, all you need to do, you are to repeat not only Baba, but you stress the Baba. The variety of the sounds that you make, okay, those things are having an impact, okay, on the neural architecture for language in the brain of the child. Therefore, for the wealthy, whenever they go to work, they have got the money to get nanny to take care, okay, of their wards. But for the poor, they go to work, drop the child at home. This child is not having the auditory signals that the child needs in order to create that what? That brain, that circuit for a formidable brain for language architecture. So it is called the Matthew effect. That the advantage, or one of the advantages that the rich and the middle class are giving to their children, they are aware that whatever they say is having an impact in the brain, okay, of their children. But the poor are not aware of this. And do you know that as soon as that child begins, maybe starts preschool, this is, please hold this for me. Yes, brother, come. So this is what. Please, I want everybody to look up. Because I, being a neuroeducator, whenever excuse me, whenever I am at home, I try to engage my child. I tell my child stories. I buy books that have different colors, that have toys, babies and others. And I just have it at the back of my mind that look, whatever I'm telling this child, the child is what? Is registering it. And you know that I have already created a very formidable, what is called the Matthew effect, a very strong language architecture in the brain of my child. As soon as my child starts schooling, because this one is very strong, this is the reading circuit. The reading circuit is what? Is intertwined, is entangled with what? With the language architecture. Now it is very, very formidable. So that child, because of it, expose that child to so many different sounds, and the language architecture is extremely strong. The child can do what? Easily read when the child will start schooling. But for the children, I thank you very much. Please clap for them. Clap for them. So, but for the children of the poor, instead of having a formidable language circuitry, what they have is something like this. Very, very tiny. That's why you discover that most of them have problems with reading. Reading is what? It's a language. Please put that down. Reading is a language. But it is a language that is visual. So do not forget, reading is also a language, but it is a language that is visual. So please do not forget that reading itself, it is also a language, but it is a visual language. Why is it a visual language? Because it uses what? Letters. So please do not forget that. Don't confuse, don't think that language is quite different from reading. Both of them are languages. One uses oral. The other one uses letters. Both of them are language. Now, if you already have oral, very formidable oral language architecture, then when you start reading, which is also a language, you discover that both language and reading architecture is going to be very, very strong. And this will lead to, there's something called hyperlesia. There's something called hyperlesia. You know, when we say something hyper, it means high, isn't it? Yes. Then lesia has to do with letters. So that was why I said reading is also a language that uses visuals. And what are the visuals? Letters. And what are the letters in English language? 26 alphabets. So you can hear that all these things are connected with each other and with one another. So hyperlesia is just simply, it is that capacity, to read fluently. It is the capacity of a child to read beyond his or her age. Hyperlesia is the capacity of a child to read beyond his or her age. That is what hyperlesia is all about. There are some children, especially if you come across children who are from educated homes, in your class or in your classes, you discover that you only look. The reason is that the parents have applied the Matthew effect. They've created that solid foundation, language foundation, the oral, the spoken language for that child. And the school is doing what it is helping to build another language, but now language of letters. language of words. So both of them are languages. Very good. I'm not going to rush.
Exactly what you said. I discovered it true. The first one I said started schooling by 8 months.
Okay.
8 months. A lot of people are, what kind of parents are you? I said, where did I have chance? Let's assume I'm working somewhere and the mother too is working. And they have this nanny daycare.
Exactly.
So she would have been in daycare by 3 or 4 months. So let her start in school by 8 months. So that 8 months earlier school really helped her.
Wow.
But the other one started maybe almost after 1 year. And you know, some people are still adamant now that even if the wife is suggesting that let my baby go to school as early as possible, the husband will be saying, ọmọ mi dún mélòó lélẹ̀ tó ti fẹ́ lọ sọ sí school tí ó bá ti pé ọmọ ọdún méjì ọmọ ọdún mẹ́ta. Meanwhile, they don't have time. That means early schools is what really helping the outcome of the elites too. Because you see, most of the elite kids, they graduated around 17, 18 years.
Thank you so very much.
While some of these lower class people, they will still be adamant that until the child reach 3 years or 2 years before they start their normal school. It's true.
Thank you so very much, okay, for this very sound input. So it is now. Do you know that with neuroscience, you should be able to persuade the parents. Say, mommy, how old is your child? Maybe 9 months or something like that. Is it kindergarten? You go to panic about science. You want to pay. You need to don't get Matthew effect. You can tell me to one load here. So we want full our the edge. Okay, over other children. Then, secondly, in America has lost the battle against China presently.